Hello there, Key Stage 1. So we're going to start our next computing unit, which is called Creating Pictures. And in this unit, we're going to be learning how to use a Purple Mash tool called To Paint a Picture. So this afternoon, we're going to be using that and learning a little bit about a style of painting called Impressionism. And there's a little video from the London Tate Gallery on the blog that tells you a little bit about what Impressionism and Impressionist artists were. Became very popular over 200 years ago, so it's quite an old form of artwork, an old style of painting, where artists would look at something and paint not exact details of what they saw, but an overall impression of what they saw. So they'd use colour and they'd overlap colours, they'd use short brush strokes to create an impression. So I'm going to share my screen with you and just show you a few examples of some Impressionist painting. So this one is Starry Night by Van Gogh. You might have seen this before. It's very, very famous, and it's a good example of how this doesn't look like an exact copy of what we would see if we looked out our window, but the way that he's used his short strokes of the brush and blended the colours together gives us an impression of what a starry night looks like. So with this one, this is a good example. If you look at the background here, again, it's not the exact shape of clouds, but the way that the artist has overlaid strokes of white on top of the blue background gives us the impression of clouds. This one gives us a good impression of lily pads on a water lily pond. So the artist has used different shades of blue to help us see the features of the pond. So lighter up here, very dark shades of blue down here, giving the impression of the deeper water, and then lots of lovely shades of green and yellowy green for the lily pads. This is a painting by an artist called Renoir, and again he's used the strokes of the brush and the colours to give the impression of all these lovely people all crowded together, especially back here. Again, you can't see the exact details back here, but the shapes and the colours give us the right impression. This one you might have seen. This is by Claude Monet. He's Water Lily Pond, and again he's used a mixture of colours, especially over here. I can see that this is probably a weeping willow tree, the way that he's used his downward strokes to create the impression of the leaves hanging over the pond. This painting is by an artist called Degas. If we look particularly at the ballerina's face, he hasn't included the exact details and features of her face, but again the colours that he's used give us that impression, hence the use of the word impressionism. Okay, so what we're going to have a go at doing is using the tool called To Paint a Picture. So we're going to go into Purple Mash, onto the home screen, but I will set this as a to-do for you as well, so you can go up to your red to-do file up here, or you can go into art with the purple paintbrush and then choose this one on the end, To Paint a Picture, and we'll launch the app. Now when you go into it, you'll be given lots of options if it opens up for us. Here we go. So we're going to look at lots of these options over the next few weeks, but today we're going to look at this one down here, Impressionism. So at the moment, can you see your felt tip pens on the side over here? Watch what happens when you go into Impressionism. It changes to tubes of watercolour paint that have been squeezed out into your palette, and you can choose your colour. It tells you what colour you've selected here. You can choose the size of your brush, so you can make little strokes or you can make it nice and big and thick. Now at the minute I can't see that very well. That's because I've got lots of water added to my paint. So if I go and make the water go down like that, my paint becomes darker. If I click on it again and put the water level back up, my paint becomes lighter. Now watch what happens if I go across like that and then go back over the top. I can go over and over the same piece of paper and make different parts darker by going over the top. I can add some water and go back over the top. Oops. And go back over the top and add some lighter colour to it as well. So what we're going to do is have a play this afternoon. I can use my rubber and I can get rid of that. I can use the arrow up here, the undo, if I've made a mistake, and that will bring it back. Or if I want a whole new piece of paper, I click on the 3 lines, click new, and then on my smiley face, and it will give me a nice fresh piece of paper. So we're going to have a go this afternoon at painting a picture in the style of the Impressionist artist. So I'm going to choose something very, very simple to give a demonstration to you. I'm going to choose blue, and I want to start with it quite dark. I'm going to use a biggish brush, and I'm going to start down the bottom, and I'm going to create the sea. And I'm going to, once I've done over once, I can go over and do short strokes. I'm going to make this bit a bit darker down here. Then I'm going to choose this kind of turquoisey colour, and I'm going to put some sky up here. I'm going to leave a space in the middle because I'm going to have a go at doing a sunset. So I'm going to choose orangey colour. I'm going to make that quite dark. I think that's about the right amount of water, and I'm going to kind of go around in a circle. Remember, it's an impression, so it doesn't have to be an exact circle that looks like the sun. I'm going to pick yellow now, and I want this to be quite pale, so I'm going to add a bit more water, and I'm going to go over a bit more yellowy. Okay, a little bit more yellow, I think, in the middle, and then I'm going to add some into the water, just a few bits, short strokes, just to make it look a bit like a reflection. So there's my sunset, very quickly done. Yours will be a lot better than mine. Once I've finished, I'm going to click up here, go down to the bit that says save. I'm going to make sure that it's in my work, and I'm going to call it my sunset, and I click save. If I click on the bit down here that, oh, let's get rid of that. If I click where it says ABC, I can call it my sunset, give it a name. And I'll go back in here and save that again, just to make sure. There it is, my sunset, save. Are you sure you want to overwrite? That means, are you sure you want to save it over the top of the last one? Yes, because I made a change to it and I want it to save my changes. Okay, so that's what we're going to have a go at doing today. I'm looking forward to seeing your Impressionist paintings. Have a really good play. You don't just need to do one. You can do lots if you want to. I'm just going to make sure if I go into my work folder, there it is. It's saved. And I'll be able to see your work as well if you save it in your folder, and I can then record a voice message for you. If your triangle is green, it means I've voice recorded a message about your work. Here's one I prepared earlier. Look, if you want to have a look at this one, let's open that up. This was my first attempt. That funny noise you might be able to hear in the background is Rosie snoring, by the way. She's got a bit of a cold, so she's snuffly. So that was my first attempt, Mrs. Thorne's sunset. So have fun this afternoon. I'm excited to see your pictures, and I'll see you next time.